side.
Welcome home, Raiders. This week, profession catch-ups are on the horizon for more than just gathering. Names you trust are expanding their realms of influence, and we have a very special report direct from Blizzard. This is CTR 137.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
The Convert to Raid Command Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is March 30th, 2014, just a couple of days before April Fool's Day, and it is now 11:20 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land, and hello. My name is Pat Crane. I'm your host of the show. I'm also called Zug around Airy Peak, U.S., and still raiding with the old Resto Druid, and so are the players. So let's get to them. From serene Seattle, or I don't know what kind of Seattle it is this week. It's Darius. Hi.
I'm not talking this week on the show. I'm boycotting due to the offensive message that Coltrane has put on the bottom of the comment.
We don't know what you're talking about at all. Mm-hmm. We have no idea what you're talking about. But
I can't even repeat what it says.
But
so.
Speaking of the man himself, let's go out to Hollyweird, California, to the Funky Monk, Coltrane. Hey, Cold, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, sorry, excuse me. I was just enjoying some brew. Fortune cookies say.
Oh boy.
A bathtub full of paladins is called a bubble bath. Huh? Because you see, they cast bubbles.
No.
They bubble themselves in a bathtub. It's a bubble bath.
No, that was
come on.
That was too obvious.
Too obvious?
It was too
all
obvious.
All right. I'll just sit here and drink my excellent mug.
Right.
It's getting worse. Yeah,
I got 10 out of 10.
Let's bring.
I got many bongos.
You got 10 out of 10 for the bottom of your coffee mug.
Right. I don't know what you're talking. There's nothing wrong with this mug. What is it? The color? I don't see what the issue is.
And if you guys aren't watching the video show, I'm not going to tell you. You got to go over and watch the video show.
Let's see what the problem is. People are freaking out for no big reason. Great.
Well, hello, fellas, and welcome back, gang, to another wonderful Convert to Raid, where we've got a bunch of really awesome information this show. So stick around. It's going to be a killer show. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. But first, let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing this week in World of Warcraft. And Darius, let's start with you. What have you been up to?
Actually, not much. My week's been pretty busy. I ran through LFR Tot on my Paladin, which was actually a lot better this week than the free 90 week. I think I ran through and I don't think we wiped at all. But trying to get those rune stones. I've been blowing through the legendary. Got to this point in like 4 or 5 weeks, I think. And now I'm down to basically 1 or 2 rune stones a week. I ran through all of Tot Thursday night or Friday night, and I got 1 runestone off Lei Shen, and that was it.
That's so tough. Oh, no.
Feel the burn,
That's
baby.
so tough,
Feel
man.
burn.
So we need that. Our raid team.
Yeah.
I am raiding Sans Cloak right now.
So how many weeks has it been, and how many weeks do you think it'll be until you get the cloak?
At this rate, let's see. I have 5, and you need 12, and I get 1 a week. So I'm thinking probably 6 months.
Probably June. June is the correct answer. So that's awesome.
I mean, I'll still probably get 1 from Shaw. So, a couple of weeks if I continue to only get the guaranteed ones, which is what it's looking like, which is very frustrating.
Yeah.
I did some raiding with the Asparagus Initiative, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah,
you know, Darius, interesting. I believe you were the one that said, I don't know what the big deal is with this legendary.
Yeah.
It only takes like a month to get like everything.
Right. I could have sworn there was a show a few months ago where you said something like that. It was probably a month or 2 ago at this point. But
even at this rate, I'll get it in under 2 months.
But I don't. No.
Looks like Darius needs to drink in the truth.
Yeah, I think so.
I got all the sigils of power and wisdom in the first week, and then the 3K Valor in that week and the next 2 weeks. So 3 weeks for that, and then finished all the rep around all that. Got all of the what was next? Secrets. 20 of those only took a week or two. That was really quick. And then now I'm on runestones for the third week. So what? 6 weeks? 7 weeks?
What about your Valor?
The Valor done right. I did that. I was able to get that right away. Like on Tuesday, reset, get 3K Valor the next 3 weeks, and then finish the next step.
It's still a little bit longer, my friend.
It is.
3K
than what you toted weeks ago.
Right.
So I'll take that as an apology. And that works.
You get nothing from me this show.
I appreciate that. That's
great. Right. So Colt, let's switch gears over to you. What have you been up to this week in World of Warcraft?
Well, I have a tale of... Last week was a tale of kicking butt. This week it is a tale of heroes.
Oh.
In a team known as Rectify. Rectified.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Man, it just gets me so pumped.
It does get you amped up. It really does.
Come on.
It's very good.
So the team Rectify, 10-man, 1 day a week. We step in there. We're doing heroics now, right? We're heroic, baby.
Yep.
We're getting in there and we're kicking butt. We're doing the old standard heroics, right? You got your Mercius, you got your Protectors. We're working our way on up. Gallicrass, Iron Jugs. Now, got a quick story about Iron Jugs. So it was one of those raids where everything's just clicking, baby. You know what I'm saying? Everything's just moving.
Right.
Everyone's like, no one's standing in the poo. The deeps are deepsing. The heals are healing. Everything's going great. The tanks are tanking. And then we get to Iron Jugs.
Uh-oh.
And this is a story of a hero by the name of Rusty Cage. So what happened was like there was just like a snafu. You know in these fights sometimes there's like a snafu, right?
Yeah.
So people start dying and we're like, oh boy, all right, keep going. We might make the enrage. Keep going. Another person dies. Another person dies. Keep going. Another person dies. Oh, he's down to like all this health. What lives is one man by the name of Rusty Cage. He's a rogue.
And a Soundgarden fan.
And a Soundgarden
He
fan.
really
You're
is. He really likes it.
So Iron Juggernaut enrages, right?
Yeah.
So we're like spread out, everybody spread out. So he starts running around and starts one-shotting everybody, just like boom, 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 boom. And he's like got like 10K health, like he's at 1%.
Right.
And he's killing everybody. And then Yuffie, our holy paladin healer, casts Hand of Protection on him seconds before she dies. She's just like, here, then she dies. So Rusty Cage had his poisons up on the target. So he's got Hand of Protection. So he's running around and his dots, his poisons are ticking away. And down goes his health, And then Hand of Protection runs out. So what does Rusty do? No. He pops Cloak of Shadows. And he pops Evasion.
Right.
And he starts going and he's popping Invasion. And we're like, come on, Rusty. And then right at the last possible second, Iron Juggernaut is dead. Yeah.
Nice work.
Holy cow. It was intense, man.
It's a tough win. I love those tough wins. Those are always amazing.
Oh, I'm exhausted just retelling.
That's how we killed Iron Jugs this first week as well.
Well, I was gonna get into that. You didn't let me get into it.
Well,
let me get into it.
So Iron Jugs was down, which was awesome. Huge, great. Congratulations, Rusty Cage. Yuffie, that was a clutch Hand of Protection. And then we went into Dark Shaman. I did some tanking. I did better this week.
Hey, nice work.
On the tanking.
Did you remember some of your cooldowns?
Well, yes. I remembered the cooldowns, but I forgot to wear my tanking clothes.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, come on! No!
It's always something, isn't it?
I'm working on it. But we did really well. Our best attempt, we got him down to 3%.
Wow.
Heroic Dark Shamans. That was our best attempt.
Congrats.
So next week, I'm hoping we'll get a kill. Right. So if I can remember my tanking cloak and my, Black Ox statue, I think we might have a better chance of making him down. So it was a great week of raiding.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. And I think we'll just jump into the official raid team 25-man for the Convert to Raid show. It's the Asparagus Initiative. There we go. So Darius, you kind of tipped your hat on that one.
I did. I gave it away.
Yeah. What did we do last week for the AI?
Let's see. So we went in. We had already killed the first 3 bosses on heroic.
Yep.
Shah would have been new for us. So we went in and to quote Colt a couple weeks ago, we one-shot Shah.
That's awesome.
Right.
I think.
It was really cool.
Then we went straight to Iron Juggernaut. And I believe we 1 or 2 shot Iron Juggernaut in heroic.
Yep.
And then we went, or rather Gallicrast. And then we went to
Gallicrast.
Iron Juggernaut, and we one-shot Iron Juggernaut.
Right.
We actually, I think a hunter pulled the first attempt, so that didn't count.
Right, it didn't count. We have this thing with Asparagus Initiative and hunters.
Our hunters. Man.
Our hunters are not. Well, it's not that they're not good. They're good. They're good. They're good chaps.
We have 5 of them.
The problem is we have 5 of them, and one of them generally pulls a boss every single time that we walk up to him. They just cannot stop firing at the stupid boss.
He's a little trigger happy.
All of them.
Yeah.
I found out.
They're jumping the gun.
Our hunters have their own hunter channel in game that they talk to each other on. And after the first or second hunter pull on Sunday night, they decided, all right, now there's a rotation, because that's kind of what it was looking like. One pull, then the next, and the next. And it was Wyatt's turn, apparently, in the rotation. And that's why he pulled one of the bosses when he did. And he just typed in hunter chat, "You're welcome, guys." Because now everyone had done it.
Right. So it was a week of hunter pulls. But so they pulled Juggernaut on heroic right off the bat. And it was like, oh, God, here we go. All right, another death, more repair money. Okay, great. And then on the next pull, we actually one-shot heroic Jugs, which is amazing.
Congrats!
And it was kind of a tough win though. Right, Darius?
It was really
hard
close.
fought.
Same kind of thing. We started. He enraged, and we started dropping people like flies, just walking around, one-shotting people. And I think we were down to 1 or 2 people left. I think we had 1 person alive at the end. No bops or anything. Our paladins were already dead. I think it was a warlock or a hunter, and we barely eked out a win on that one.
That's awesome.
It was really, really tight. I think, was there 1 person or 2 people?
I think it was
really close. That's all I know.
Yeah,
it's really close, and that's on 25, and so it's very similar story to yours. But man, I tell you. When you have 25 people all dying to the boss, it's like you really start to notice it. Especially as a healer, I was like going, "Oh my God, everybody's dead!"
Right?
We
saw it coming, and it was like spread out. And people's idea of spreading out was, "I'm gonna take a step back."
Right?
So no. He just turns around and just starts picking people off.
That's awesome.
It was pretty funny.
Further than that,
it was good. It was a good time. And then we did. Did we try heroic?
Dark Shaman, we got to 25% maybe on Dark Shaman.
Nice.
With a couple attempts.
Yeah.
That was
Zug, were you healing top or bottom?
What?
On Dark Shaman.
Bottom. He's bottom.
I know what you meant, but I was just like, what?
Oh, come on. It doesn't sound like that.
It kind of does a little bit. No, I was healing down on the bottom. In the
now,
bottom
if I
area.
were to say, did you heal, front or back? Like, you never heal front to back.
No, you always
never ever heal front to back. No, that's bad.
No, that's bad. That is bad.
That's bad news.
No, but yeah, I think it was we had a priest and monk up top.
That's awesome. Yeah, because down below it's pretty chaotic down there, right?
It was a disc priest and a resto druid.
Oh, was Red up there? Okay.
Yeah, Red was
up
there.
Awesome.
Cool. So yeah, and the healing wasn't necessarily an issue during that pull, but or the couple of pulls that we had, but at the same time, there's a lot of damage going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on for those Dark Shaman. It's incredible. So all right, one thing that I want to bring up before we actually get into the news part of the news is that Blizzard actually was able to, if you remember the Alterac Brew Pup Pet,
Say that 10 times fast.
I can't even say it one time slow. What are you talking about? But the Alterac Brew Pup Pet raised $1 million to Make-A-Wish, which is incredible. And so that's a big congratulations to everybody that forked over the cash for it. I know that I did, and it was because of the charity aspect of it that I got it. But they were able to make $1 million for Make-A-Wish, which also means that they were able to make $1 million for themselves.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that at all. But it was just kind of like, oh yeah, we were able to give Make-A-Wish $1 million. Yeah, but it was half of the proceeds, right? I don't know.
But one thing too, that is wrong. You don't want to heal back to front. Not front to back is
front to
okay.
back is fine. Back to front.
I don't want to get that backwards and confuse people. Like I've been doing it wrong this whole time. You know,
right?
You don't want to go back to front. I just need to thank you. There was some clarity in the chat room, so I appreciate it. That could be really bad news.
Could be.
I don't want to confuse anyone.
And the biggest news of the week, other than what we have coming up, of course.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Which is incredible. It's gonna be amazing. But arguably the biggest news this week is that Reaper of Souls was released this week for Diablo 3. Biggest WoW news of the week, right?
Yeah, and WoW subscribers dropped 75% the past week.
Right. Well, at least they stopped playing for a little bit so that they could take some time on
the
Reaper.
Battle.net client has been replaced by only people playing Diablo 3. It no longer shows WoW characters, I think.
Everyone's Battle.net friends has a D next to their name.
I know. It's crazy. I think this was the week where I looked at everybody and it was really about half and half. You know, like we have some extremely good hardcore WoW folk that I have on my friends list, and those guys were playing WoW, but everybody else was playing Diablo. It was and so was I. I'm guessing that you guys have gotten Reaper of Souls, or have you?
Yes.
And what did you think, Darius?
It's fun. I'm digging it. Yeah. I mean, the new loot system is good. That's been in for a little while, but just the story is kind of interesting. The new change of pace, new change of mobs to kill, that kind of stuff. It's fun. I haven't finished it yet.
Right.
Like level 68 or something like that. So I'm not.
Wow.
I haven't finished. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play outside Titanfall.
Right.
But
outside
your
good. Normal Titanfall time. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good game.
How about you, Colt? Have you played it at all?
I have not picked it up.
Well,
in fact, Sheo tweeted, he goes, "This is amazing. Everyone on my Battle.net list is playing Diablo except for Coltrane." I was like, yeah, I'm playing WoW, baby.
Nice. Yeah, I know.
I haven't picked it up yet, but I hear it's great. I hear the big change in the loot is like amazing. And like somebody said, like they fixed the game. Now it's great. Now it's like what it's supposed to be.
It feels really good. It does.
It feels great.
Yeah, it feels great. And I am, like level 52 or something like that. I finally got Transmog though, and they have Transmog and they have Enchants now. So they're like taking their cue from World of Warcraft, and they're saying, all right, well, let's put these things in the game. Sure, a little bit more depth. Awesome. It's kind of cool. So I'm digging it. But we should probably get to the big news of the week. We're very excited. So let's get into the raid news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening this week in raiding news. And this week, Blizzard announced that there will be a new WoW source soon. This is the roundtable interview video direct from Blizzard with host Morgan Webb. And we've seen this a couple of times before. This time, it'll be talking about PvP and class changes with lead class designer Chris Zierhut. Zierhut? Is that right? I don't know.
That's completely correct.
That is completely the correct pronunciation.
100%.
Zierhut. Whatever. Lead encounter designer Ian Hazacostas. I know that's right. And
no, that's wrong.
And that's right. It is totally wrong. It's Ion.
Yes. Ion.
And senior game designer and PvP guy Brian Holinka. I think that's how you pronounce it. Right.
Holinka.
Holinka.
Yeah.
Yeah. But It does seem that there was a leak somewhere with the developers, and we have a sneak peek. We got some stuff intercepted.
We got it, baby!
Yeah, we got some stuff intercepted from Blizzard HQ.
Right.
Before this new video comes out.
So this could be like what they're going to talk about. Like this could be some of the class changes.
I think so.
Some of the abilities, like some glyphs.
Yeah, and it's an exclusive here on CTR. Now, I think that the all this information is going to drop probably on. I think it's scheduled for maintenance day. Right. We have all the latest patch notes from the current build of Warlords, and you know some of this stuff might change up a little bit during the development process. I mean, they're not done by any means.
Right, it is alpha.
Right, this is a sneak peek as to some of the abilities that are and glyphs and talents and stuff like that. So let's go through these things.
Yeah, for the people on the live stream, like don't tweet this out or stuff because this isn't supposed to go live till Tuesday.
Right.
When when the show will probably come out.
Well, but this is an exclusive. Like we gotta. I mean, it's an exclusive. We gotta talk about it. Like
pretty cool.
We were torn. Like this is a leak. This is not an announcement.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This is a leak.
Right.
So there's some controversy. Like, do you talk about leaks? Do you whatever? And we've decided yes. That's what we're going to do. So
well, because that's what we got to do. So who wants to kick it off?
I can start if you want.
All right.
So judging by a lot of this stuff, it looks like a lot of what Blizzard was saying is true. A lot of this stuff that they've been talking about is going into Warlords. There's some stuff that's a little bit controversial. I don't know, but we'll see. But like, it looks like most of the abilities that you're going to get while you're leveling up, this is like every 2 levels, will increase damage and healing, which is good. But we kind of expected that.
Right.
But we do have some new abilities and some glyphs here. Druid.
Yeah.
They're getting an insect swarm.
Right.
It's kind of a restoration revamp.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? You do druids.
Yeah.
Zug, here. What's going on here?
Apparently insect swarm is coming back. It was taken away, and now it's going to be coming back for Warlords. And for the restoration, this is just for tree form only. And so when you're in tree form, you can hit insect swarm. And what ends up happening is pretty cool. Termites are released from the resto druid to swarm the enemy, and then it bites their trunk for 2 seconds every 2 seconds for 12 seconds. So it's kind of a cool little thing that they're bringing it back and having some fun with it. So it's kind of cool. I don't know.
That's kind of fun, but but it says here it's only available in tree form.
Right.
So that's with the restoration thing, like you were saying.
It's like like allowing druids to DPS, kind of like priests can DPS. Yeah, so
exactly, a little bit of DPS here and there. I mean, I'm guessing that it's probably not going to hit for too much, but a little bit. It's always nice because resto druids really are not known for DPS.
No, so that's kind of cool to be able to do that. Right.
You want to take DKs there, Colt?
Death Knight. Your diseases have a chance to proc a fire rune. So this is a new rune.
Fire rune. That's cool.
Yes. They've got like frost runes, unholy, and the death runes or whatever.
Right.
Fire runes deal % damage based on the number of targets affected by your diseases. So this is like an AoE.
Right.
It's like a new AoE ability for Death Knights.
That's cool, man.
So the more that your diseases are on, these more fire runes are going to be proccing and doing more damage. So this gives some nice AoE damage to DKs.
Right.
So that's great.
That's very cool. Very cool. Darius, you want to take the next one there?
So this is Hunters. This is a cosmetic thing. It's called Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels. Hunters are going to be able to dual wield, but only guns.
Right.
No dual wielding.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Imagine coming out with guns on your shoulders and you just go, I'm ready to rock.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. They're going to be like Fury Warriors, but with guns.
Right.
Like, that's awesome.
Right. Oh, Mage is next. I'm guessing that's probably a good one for you, Colt.
They got a new spell. It's called Fire Bad.
Right.
The Mage's Fireball inflicts double the damage against undead targets. Now, this is a little controversial because I thought a lot of the stuff they were doing wouldn't be like I think Hunters they're getting rid of like damage to beasts, or maybe that's some of the racials, like they do greater damage towards beasts and all that stuff.
Right.
So I don't know if they're going back on that. But Fire Bad, the mage's fireball, double the damage against undead targets. So
it's a little weird. It's a little weird, but it doesn't really seem to fit very, very well, does it? Not at all. You want to take monk too, because I mean you play that class.
It's the monk, baby.
It's the monk.
It's the monk.
Right.
So right now, monks, we've got this is awesome. This is huge. So right now we've got Storm, Earth, and Fire, and these are our clones, right? Mm-hmm. Storm, Earth, and Fire. You send them out there, they're doing their damage, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. In Warlords, we're going to get Storm, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And so the monk will be able to summon up to 4 clones. You're going to have 4 of them.
Wow.
So that's awesome. So that's more cleave damage. That's more like, my God, that's going to be insane.
So that's just like on protectors or something like that. Instead of 3 things attacking the wrong target, you'll have 4.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Right.
That's the idea.
Right. And Priest is next. And Darius, since you play a Priest, why don't you take this one?
So we've got Death Grip, which is this is an ability. It's going to be just like Leap of Faith, Life Grip, except it only works on players' corpses. So you could just Life Grip players' corpses around.
That's weird.
Around the battlefield. I don't know why you'd want to use this. I don't know why they made this decision.
It's got to be. It's got to be like a minor glyph or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this is like a fun, one. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
pretty awesome though. Like you're just dragging corpses around.
You're just tugging Dave around
I guess Disc Priest needs something to do. You know, they've bubbled the whole raid. Right. No one's taking damage. The other healers are asleep anyway.
Right.
So
that's right.
Disc Priest got to have some fun.
Yeah. Now I like the next one actually. It's Rogue, and this is called Grapple Hook, where the Rogue fires a grapple hook, allowing him to travel up to 40 yards, really quickly. Right, so it's kind of like a Displacer Beast, or it's kind of like a Blink, or something like that.
Right.
And you can do it every 30 seconds. So that's pretty cool.
Actually, I like that. I want that.
I want that too. I want that for every character I ever play on any game
seriously,
ever.
Right? That's awesome.
Just throw out a grapple hook. All right, Shaman are next. And Colt, why don't you take that?
They're getting a thing. This is a minor glyph. So this is probably another visual type thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Totem's Totem. When you place totems, those totems place their own mini versions. These have no effect and are just visual. That's insane.
That's crazy.
They have just totems everywhere. So yeah, that's completely visual.
I wonder if it'll be like you drop the totem and then it'll drop the 4 totems. Because right now you just drop the 1, but then it drops 4. So then you'll be like surrounded by totems.
That's awesome.
There's totems everywhere.
Why do I all of a sudden want to play a Toto song? I don't know.
I know, right?
Right. You want to take the Warlock one there, Darius?
So we've got Warlocks are when they consume their soul shards, it's going to trigger an ability called Angry Demon, which spawns a non-controllable pet that increases their damage by 50% for 1 minute.
But it's uncontrollable.
1 minute?
It's uncontrollable.
But it's uncontrollable, so it could go anywhere.
Right. I mean, I hope, because that's a huge buff to Warlocks.
That is huge.
I mean,
like
all
they need more
by
buffs.
50% for 1 minute?
Like they need more buffs.
That's insane.
That's not
Warlocks! Jeez. Well, the Warlock is the enemy of the mage, so, you know.
Right.
That's insane.
Right. It is. I think maybe you should replace that thing on the bottom of your mug to say nerf Warlocks.
What? I don't know. Is there something on the bottom of my mug?
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not sure. No. Oh, man. I don't know. The next one is for warriors, and this one is entitled Rafflecopter. Used for travel, the warrior spins his weapons incredibly fast, allowing him to ascend into the air. So it's kind of like whatchamacallit. It's kind of like what is the AoE thing where they spin around? I can't remember. Bladestorm. So it's kind of like that. It's like an updated version of that, and then they'll take off.
But I wonder, could this also be like a travel thing too? Like, can they go straight up in the air, or is this like a damage thing? You know what I mean? That's the question.
It does say used for travel. I'm sorry, I missed that. There's so many notes here.
Right, I know, it's a lot.
So yeah, it says used for travel. So I'm guessing that this is just going to be a travel thing.
So he's going to spin the things above his head and take off into the air?
So it'll be like Druid flight form, essentially. Right?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I don't know. We have a bunch of talents and abilities for level 100 that have also been leaked in this whole thing.
See, this is crazy. So we have seen in the beta stuff so far the level 100 talents, but we have not seen the level 100 abilities.
Right.
What you're going to get at level 100.
Right. And some of the glyphs and stuff like that. I think there are more glyphs in this list as well. So we'll just kind of take this thing one step at a time. And I guess first up is Druid again, and I'll take this one. Druids can shapeshift into Stashiok form. When used, the character transforms into a tree with a giant mustache. So Bashiok, he's got the his icon is the soul tree essentially. So it's kind of like the soul tree,
right?
And totally for him. That's pretty cool. And it also increases all healing and damage by 69%.
Woo!
That's incredible.
That's awesome. That's huge.
How is that not OP? Right
oh
there.
My gosh.
Stashiok
Well, they do that
form.
sometimes where like an ability will be named after a Blizzard employee or like an NPC or something. So Stashiok form, all healing and damage by 69%.
That's crazy.
That's
Druids
awesome.
need a buff though. I don't even think that 69%
They do
is
need
enough.
a buff. They do need a buff to compete with
They
Disc
need
Priest.
more.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Death Knight's next. So Colt, why don't you take that?
Death Knights can actually now become the Lich King himself.
That's cool.
I think this is more younger years, complete with acne scars and daddy issues.
Oh.
It's
called
early Arthas, yeah.
Right. It's called Son of a Lich. So that must be, it's early Arthas.
Or the son of the Lich King. Either way.
Right.
I don't know.
Huh.
So what is next? We have Hunter next, right?
Hunters.
What's up with Hunters there, Darius?
So Hunters get an ability called Jimmy Trap. This ability traps the hunter's genitalia, increasing overall damage, but keeps the hunter from fleeing. So it's like a root. You basically become a turret.
Right.
Wow.
Right. That's cool.
Jimmy Trap. That's insane.
That is that's a little graphic though.
Yeah,
that is.
I don't.
It's a little.
I mean, it
How
roots.
I feel about that.
It roots you, but you get increased damage.
Right in the root, I guess.
Woo.
That's crazy. We also have some stuff for mages and monks, so I'll let you take it over here, Coltrane.
Alter Time has been renamed to Bust a Rhyme.
Right.
Allowing the player to speak an entirely different language, which appears as gibberish to any player from Stormwind.
That's a weird one.
I don't know why
I'm not gonna lie. That does sound a little off.
Yeah.
It
must be like the different language. Remember you could select the different languages to speak. So I guess you could speak Bust a Rhyme, but to anyone from Stormwind, it just comes across as gibberish. That's
cool.
crazy.
That is crazy. That's that is craziness.
All right.
I don't know if I like that one. All right. What's going on with Monk?
Monk, new ability. Where my ninjas at? An army of ninjas descend from the ceiling, inflicting AoE damage to all targets within 40 yards.
Right.
Oh, so that's that's huge AoE. That's a big cleave.
That is.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's like the Death Knight army, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like
Even more
damage. I mean, geez, 40 yards.
Right.
I think you might get into trouble if you're out in the open world with that.
That's true.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, talk about lag issues. You thought healing was causing it. Now you're going to have monks causing it.
Right. Well, priests could be causing it with the next one, right, Darius?
Yeah, so priests are getting an ability called Huge Penance.
Yeah.
The priest's penance ability doubles in size and girth, causing nearby players to both cheer and cower in fear, and a 20% chance of triggering the /train emote. I think this is exactly what priests need.
Wow.
The /train emote, does it sound like this? Just looking for an excuse to play that sounder. Yeah. Just looking for an excuse. That's it.
Huge penance.
Yeah.
Wow. Huge penance.
That is
huge. What dispriests need this to show off their power, their their worth. They need huge penance.
That's insane.
Right. Well, next up we have rogues, and rogues get a new ability called Shoe Tie. And this is only from stealth, where the player can tie the mob's shoelaces together. When applied to a boss, it has 20% chance to trigger Whoopsie, causing the NPC to trip and fall on their car keys, inflicting damage.
That's awesome.
I was kind of hoping that they would, when I was reading this, I thought, oh, they're going to trip, 20% chance to trip and fall.
Yeah.
And then drop their loot. But no.
That'd be cool, too. I'd
think
definitely
that'd be a
take
great
that.
road
That'd be
ability.
awesome. That'd be awesome.
Just 1% chance.
Right. 1% chance. That'd be great. I'd take it. Shaman's next, right, Colt?
Yeah, they have a new ability. It's called Totes Magoats. It's actually a minor glyph.
Okay.
The shaman places small farm animals instead of totems. Also with the proper effects. So
Right.
Totes Magoats.
So it's just just a small change, just a little visual change for everybody.
I wonder
It's
if
gonna be-
they combined this with the other shaman minor glyph, if the farm animals place farm animals.
That would be
Right.
awesome. That would be
That's
awesome. Are you kidding
insane.
Now I
me?
want to play my shaman.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally play a shaman. If this rolls out into the beta, I'm playing shaman all beta. That's it.
Right.
That is it.
Absolutely.
And then warlocks next, Darius.
So Warlocks, consuming your soul shards triggers Demon P, a channeled ability that eliminates from the caster, or emanates from the caster, dealing fire damage. 60% chance to trigger Urine Trouble, causing splash damage to the caster as well. So it's like a
splash
get a
damage.
damage buff, but yeah, you might end up getting hurt.
Gotta watch out for that.
Wow. Demon P?
Demon P.
Yeah. Demon
So-
P.
That's what it says.
You pee. It's Demon P.
Demon P, but it's Demon P. It's not regular P.
And it's
Wow.
green.
And then you might
That would deal fire damage.
Then it might proc Urine Trouble. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Splash damage.
Gotta
And
watch
then-
out.
And then we have, last up for the warrior, we have Sundering Bladder Blast, right? This is where the warrior charges the target and screams, causing the opponent's armor to fly off his body, leaving the character in his underwear soaked in urine. Another urine one. Can also trigger eye wetums, which causes the player character to /cower in shame for 6 seconds for peeing their pants.
Yeah,
Wow.
Sounds like a PvP ability.
That's insane.
It's a PvP ability, yeah.
Oh, yes. Well done, sir.
And we also have some other things that are coming up. I mean, those are all the class changes, but we have some other ones coming up, right, Colt?
Yeah, there's a new racial. Gnomes get a new racial, bees' knees, allowing them to carry beehives on their knees and genitalia, inflicting physical damage in a frontal cone.
Whoa.
Wow.
That,
So they're going to have little beehives on their knees?
I don't understand this one.
Yeah, I don't really get this one. This one, I think this one is off.
I don't know why gnomes get that one. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It does seem more like
Bees' knees.
yeah.
This next change, I think, is my favorite. This
Okay,
is
what's going on?
I think this is great and well balanced. So the new Blingtron will allow players to purchase heroic level dungeon gear with a 1 hour cooldown.
That's awesome. Are you kidding me?
Whoa! But it's a 1 hour cooldown. So does that mean that it's gonna like disappear after an hour?
They'd probably, if you just find another Blingtron in an hour, you could buy more heroic gear.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is purchase price affected directly by new reputation with mechanical toys.
That's kind of a
Grind
strange
that
rep
rep.
though. Yeah, I mean you gotta get the rep. That's of course.
Oh.
Now night elves have a new level 100 ability called Fruit of a Loon, where the night elf strips down to their underwear and begins to dance, increasing their haste and libido, a new ability for them, by 90%.
Wow.
That's
Fruit of a
haste.
Loon.
Fruit of a Loon, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Right?
insane.
Wow.
It's a lot of haste.
Wow. And then we have one last one, right? Right, Colt?
This is the big one. Savage Leather has been renamed to Leather.
April Fools!
Yeah!
That was a really long, stupid bit. But that is
April Fools!
April Fools!
What? Yes.
Only half of those are real, and we'll let you determine which ones those are.
Right.
Or
I
maybe
think
none of
Demon
them.
P is real.
Or,
I think
Demon
that
P
one's
is
right
totally
on.
real. Yeah.
See, savage leather because everything's so savage. It's savage.
Right. So it's just
in
leather
Breno.
now. It's just all leather. It doesn't
That's
matter.
right. I think we got him.
Yep.
April Fool.
Yep. And then we have, oh my gosh. Oh, really? Oh, no. I can sense the sarcasm coming from the chat room. What's going on?
This isn't real? What are you talking about?
No, apparently not. But there is another WoW source on its way. That first part was true. There is another WoW source on its way, and they will be talking to all those designers, talking about class changes and PvP changes. So be looking forward to that coming soon, TM. Hopefully it's not going to be released on Tuesday, because Tuesday is April 1st.
April Fool.
That's right. That's right. So, and we'll see exactly what ends up happening. And thank you for sticking with us during that bit. A very, very silly bit. Okay. So, in other news, MMO Champion actually came out with a poll, and I thought it was kind of interesting, right? So it was, if you could blacklist dungeons in Mists of Pandaria, which ones would you blacklist? So
this actually came from
this came from Ian. Yes.
Yeah, he said that they were looking at possibly doing this like they do for PvP.
Right. So if you guys had one or two dungeons that you could blacklist, what would they be? Colt, do you have any that you don't want to run anymore?
Well, I think that a lot of this stuff has to do, and I hate to say it, is difficulty. You know, a lot of the things that ended up on this list are those that are more difficult. Now, I know nowadays it's the end of the expansion. Everything is just, you just race through it. You race through it. But back in the day, when you didn't have all this gear and you didn't have these, 569 gear level item levels, these were difficult. And there was a little, now hold on a minute. A lot of you are going, no, these are super easy. But I'm just saying some of these took a little bit longer to do, and that seems to be what's on the list. I don't know. I don't mind any of the dungeons, really. The only ones that I do not like are the ones where you got to throw the barrels while the troops are coming up the steps.
The brewery one?
Brewery,
no, it's not the brewery. It's the siege of such and such.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he's like, send in the air support! Like, whatever that one is.
Yeah. So
but it's interesting.
Was that Nizhao Temple or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siege of Nizhao Temple.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is the only reason I don't like it is because I can't just blow through it. I have to stop and do that event. So that's why I
made
don't
a change to that recently. You can now, there's an NPC you can talk to, and he makes this was in challenge modes and it's now in normals and heroics. You talk to this guy and you can just keep spawning waves. Like you don't have to wait for the next wave to come or anything like that. You can just spawn them all and deal with it. Yeah, so that one's actually quicker now.
That's cool.
It's a fun mechanic, and I love the mechanic. When I was first doing it, I thought it was great. Yeah. But now when you can just race through these, that's the only one I don't like as much, just because I'm forced to stop. But if they did that hotfix, then that's a great thing. So
I think the only one that I really have an issue with is the brewery, because I've run that thing so many damn times now that I'm like, yeah, I get it. There's a monkey and I have to kill it. I have to kill the monkey. Great. I'll jump on a barrel and whatever, and barrel of monkeys. I get it. It's a funny joke. Not so much the 100th time that I've run this dungeon, but it's a pretty good joke. I like it. I don't know.
Well, that's also because you did it while you were leveling up as well, and then you did it as a heroic.
Exactly. And I think that was just way too many times as far as going through that particular dungeon. Darius, how about you? Anything in particular that you'd like to not run anymore?
Probably just the long ones like Shadowpan, Scholomance, Scarlet Halls. Yeah, they just take a while. Not because they're hard, or most groups seem to be doing all right in these things. They just take a while. There's a lot of trash, a lot of stuff to sit through, and a lot of distance to cover.
Right.
So I like to get in and out real quick.
Yep. Now, do you guys think that this is a good idea to have a blacklist for dungeons for warlords? I mean, this could be kind of cool, and but it could also, I don't know, make the encounter designers go, oh, nobody likes this one. That was my idea.
That's my worry is, you'll get something like a Shadowpan that from day one, everyone decides right off the bat they hate, everybody blacklists it, and then no one sees it, and they spent all that time and money developing it.
Right.
So, then what kind of decisions do they make going forward as far as dungeons? Like, oh, no one plays these dungeons, so we're not going to spend time making more dungeons, which is bad. I mean, it's the part of WoW though, and the RNG part of WoW and dungeons and all that kind of stuff is you get what you get. It's
Right.
random. You get that. That's just whether you like it or not. It's part of it, and it adds to it. So.
Yeah, well, and they've added extra incentive for running certain dungeons. I know the one of the Scarlet one or Skullomance, you get like extra valor. The Shadow Pan, you also get extra valor. And you're right, if they actually have a blacklist feature in here, then nobody would run certain dungeons. What I think this was just to gauge interest, just to find out what do people like, what do people don't like, and they can learn from those lessons moving forward into Warlords.
But if
I don't think this is going to be a feature. I think this is just they're checking out the feel of the community on what they like and what they don't like.
But do you think that this would make sense as a feature, or would you not like to see this as a feature?
I would not like to see this as a feature. Just like Darius said, it's like certain dungeons, people would decide on day one, this dungeon's no good, and no one would ever run it. So I agree with Darius.
And then you get people that do like it, and then they can't run with anybody that
no one's queuing
for it, and it's just like, oh, geez. Really, guys?
What you'll get is you'll get someone that will min-max dungeon blacklisting, and they'll say, if you want the quickest run for your money, these are the ones that you blacklist.
Right.
These are the ones you run, and no one will ever run the blacklisted one. So
right.
I don't like this feature either. I'm not agreeing with Colt. I just don't like this feature.
I'm not agreeing with Colt because I physically cannot.
Right.
But
let me just drink in this truth mug one more time.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Drink in the truth.
That's right.
Yes.
I totally agree with that truth, by the way. And now let's move it along because we have two names that we trust, right? As far as like giving us the right information and being a great resource for the community. And they're doing something, and each one of them are doing something a little bit new. Not really a lot new, but a little bit new. And first up, Ask Mr. Robot. Those guys are now getting into the WoW combat log business. They've actually been they've been doing this with Star Wars for a while, for like almost a year. But now they're starting to get into WoW combat logs, and they're finishing up. They're putting on all the finishing touches and trying to get all the logs from beta in and the alpha client or whatever it is. So hopefully soon we'll be seeing combat logs from those guys. Now, Darius, you're kind of the combat logs expert around here, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Supposedly. So what do you think about this? And have you heard any feedback on this at all?
I haven't heard of anyone that I know of using this or that was in the beta, because it was kind of a closed beta kind of thing to collect logs. I looked at the articles they posted, which went over what they're doing and why they're doing it and things like that. But I don't see much in here that's of super use that the World of Logs or Warcraft logs specifically doesn't already cover. They're trying to do a little bit different things with, taking into account stat weights and things like that. But I don't see how any of that is going to be super relevant to logs, the way that logs get looked at.
Like they were doing some fun things anyway with, oh my gosh, this guy, was almost dead, but so-and-so saved him. And then it'll log that specifically or something. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it's not going to help you when you're trying to min-max your character, see where you went wrong or where someone else went wrong. That's, unfortunately, that's not going to do a whole lot. It looks pretty. It looks good. It looks functional. It looks like it's going to serve its purpose. But I don't see anything, as far as the logs are concerned, I don't see anything that it does that's actually.
I disagree.
Well, and I think it's going to a different type of user, too.
Yes.
Right, Colt?
Yes.
Is that what you're going to say?
The thing. Yes, exactly. Yes. So Darius is like a hardcore world-ranked raider. You've raided with Vodka. You've raided with Exodus, all that stuff. So for you, Warcraft logs, World of Logs, you can understand that stuff like the back of your hand. It's like no problem. Personally, I actually really love Warcraft logs. It's a new thing, a little bit more simplified. It's cool.
That's great.
But what I love about this is Ask Mr. Robot is a household name. Everybody knows about Ask Mr. Robot. And what they're doing is what they've always done. They're simplifying it. They're making it easy to understand. They're adding a nice graphic to it. It looks good. It makes you like, oh, okay, I get this. Now I understand this. What I like about this is going to allow the average Joe to be able to look at this, look at their combat logs, find out what they did right, find out what they did wrong. People get intimidated a little bit when they look at World of Logs. They look at that and it's like, well, I don't know how this works and what does this mean? And oh yeah, go to YouTube and there's a guide on how to interpret all this information. For like world-class heroic level raiders, that's like no problem. That's like the back of their hand. But for the average Joe, this is going to be a great thing, and it's going to help players get better, find out what they're doing wrong in a nice, easy, simple way. And I think that overall, players are going to get better because of this. So it's good.
And it does look like that there is some depth to this. So I mean, don't think that it's just going to be, a bunch of nonsense out there. This is going to be like a real logging system. So but it looks like it's going to be a lot friendlier to those guys that are that maybe haven't had a lot of experience with other logging systems. And I do think that Warcraft logs is right now the top of the logging industry. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but they do a really good job at making the depth of information just super awesome. I mean, they make it look so great. Warcraft logs does, and I haven't seen too much from Ask Mr. Robot on this, but I know what their intent is, and if their intent is to get it to a more casual type of player, that's maybe just starting out with logging. This actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, they do, if they're trying to compete with Warcraft logs, that's going to be a tough bill for them.
Yeah,
so that's going to be a tough deal. So, because you're a big Warcraft logs guy, right, Darius?
I think they've done an amazing job. They quickly came in and for me, they've completely replaced World of Logs. I don't even use that to log anymore.
Yeah.
They do everything World of Logs does and better. So
Right.
They've even got that feature where you can see the players moving around.
I know, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's insane. You can hit play and you can see, oh, there's me standing there. And then I move over here and I move there and left and right. It's awesome.
Right.
So many cool features with Warcraft logs.
I like that. And I just hope that Ask Mr. Robot has some of that stuff as well. So we'll see exactly what ends up happening when they release it and as they kind of refine everything and stuff like that. But it's cool that they're starting to do this. I really do like that. And very accessible. That's the important thing.
Yes.
And speaking of accessible, Wowhead has also, they're the big database guys. They're huge, and they've recently published their very own class guides for those that have boosted to 90. So those guys that have boosted to 90, they now have class guides for you to check out over at Wowhead. And I checked out a couple of them, and they seem pretty okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Darius, did you check this out at all?
Yeah, they're a lot like an Icy Vein guide or a Nox guide or something like that. They're all on one page, and it looks pretty and whatnot. But they're, if you're a new 90, you want to learn how to play your class. This is another option for you to go to.
Right. Colt, did you check it out?
I did, yeah. I think they're great. It's a funny thing, these boosted 90s. Everyone's been talking about the LFR, and nobody really knows the rotation. Nobody knows what's going on. Or if they do, the DPS is so low, the healing is so low. It hit me too, by the way, why that is. We're supposed to be queuing for Mogushan Vaults, not for Throne of Thunder. I think with the 483 gear, but nobody's going to do that because they want the best gear.
Well, here's the deal too. The 483 gear is crap. It's crap gear.
But for Mogushan,
gear.
For melee, you're not even getting hit and expertise capped. You're not doing it.
You can reforge, but yeah, you get killed in the time of style. But in Mogushan Vaults, if you remember, when that thing came out, people had like 463s heroic level. I think we're supposed to be queuing for Mogushan Vaults LFR and slowly gear our way on up. But that's not how people are. They want the best gear right away.
Right.
So they're going to queue into Throne of Thunder, where it drops 502. not 483, I think, is, or somewhere around there. 489. No, that's normal.
I think,
Mogushan.
Isn't that
But I think we're supposed to be going to Mogushan. I think that's where,
or like to Shaw of Fear or something like that. I know that.
Right.
I know that everybody wants the gear, but I mean, you can always drop down to Mogushan or one of those one of those first tier raids.
But to answer your question, I think these are great. Anything they're doing to help out players, like I said, Wowhead is also a family household name.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's getting a lot of eyes on it. So if there's eyes on this and they see class guides, then they can click it and there it is. It's good to go.
Right.
So a lot of people, we know about Icy Veins. A lot of people know about it, but there's some that don't. But Wowhead pretty much been used for years. So it's good that they added this to their site.
And it's, they're getting kind of into the fray with, it's definitely better than Noxic. And for those guys that have been using Noxic.com as a way to really try to figure out what your class is all about, there are some concerns with Noxic that they don't update their material a lot, right? I mean, this is some of the reviews that have come in over the last year or so.
Yeah, they're not really peer reviewed. They don't really keep up on things, and they don't, in most cases, present the data in a useful way. I think they tell you click this button, but they don't tell you why, and I think that matters just as much as you should click it as to why you should click it.
Sure, and it's not like they don't give you detailed information over at Noxic. They do give you, actually, there is some solid information over there, but you do have to kind of parse through it a little bit more. And if you're a beginner, it's not necessarily always giving you the best advice. But then you have like MMO Champion, where they have like in-depth guides and, kind of like the way that Elitist Jerks used to be and is coming back to a little bit. It seems like they're starting to come back. And Icy Veins. But it's a little bit friendlier. And I noticed that for Hunter, what they did was they actually broke it down into the 3 different specs, and they had it all in on one page, pretty much. And they said, here are your basic spells for Hunter. Boom. And then here are your spec-specific spells. Boom. And here's what you need to do with those. Black Arrow, make sure that that's always rolling on your targets, and so on and so forth. But then for Resto Druid, it got a little confusing because Druids are kind of a pain anyway, because they 4 different specs, and they're 4 completely different specs. So they had to split it up a little bit differently, and I was reading the Resto Druid one, and I'm like going, yes, I get it, but if you're a new 90, I don't know. It's maybe a little bit too in-depth in some spots, but that's okay too. I take that over the Noxic version where they give you, not enough or bad information. So kind of cool though. Have you guys checked out any of the other stuff going on? So you all checked out your own spec, I'm guessing, on Wowhead, right? Everything seems good. Everything seems good.
Yeah, I mean, as long as
it's
they're
all there, yeah.
I was more looking at the mage because I haven't played my mage since 5.4. So
it's all good.
Yeah, but it's all right.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But it's good they got this going. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing in the news is that for Warlords of Draenor, we have a profession catch-up system that's going to be coming to Warlords. It seems like that was the big talk this week. As we found one of the devs on Twitter, and I'm sorry, but I don't know whom he is, but I don't know the actual name of the developer, but that's where it came from off of Twitter. And there's going to be a catch-up similar to, they really like the version of Herbalism and Mining, where you could catch up in Mists of Pandaria on your Herbalism and Mining. It's kind of cool, right? So
that's great.
They're going to roll this out to different professions. How would that work for? Crafting professions?
I have no idea.
Take a stab at it.
I mean, like this person on Twitter said, is it, for engineering, you're going to craft 600 fireworks of doom or whatever he said? I mean, it could be something like that. I don't know how you would do it. Craft a low level thing over and over and over again. It no longer goes gray or whatever. Like it stays green, so there's a small chance that it might fail. But
right, like
that's all I can think of. I don't know how you would do that.
Like tailoring, you're just making like these cloaks that nobody will ever wear.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like they're saying in the chat room, Ditch 74 said they'll probably do it like blacksmithing.
I think they said they didn't like that though. They gave the blacksmithing catch-up mechanic where it was if you're like stuck at if you're stuck at 425 or whatever, you can go and talk to the guy and he'll give you an expensive thing to make, but it'll get you over that hump. But he said he says of the various catch-up systems we experimented with in Myst, we like herbalism and mining the best.
Right.
The plan is more like that.
So making like partial somethings or I don't know exactly how that would work either, but
well, I'll tell you, man, on the old monk, I skinned my way from leatherworking 1 to 600.
Wow.
And that was, I mean, so I mean, if you imagine now you're going to another expansion, that 600 is going to go even higher. I'm so happy that they're adding some type of catch-up mechanism. Now, also remember in garrisons, you'll be able to have your little guys get mats for you. They will be able to do that. You know what I mean? They'll be able to mine and all that in your garrison, and maybe that'll help you level up your blacksmithing. You know, they can gather mats for you.
Or they go out and they level, blacksmithing or engineering or something like that by collecting things.
Right. It was a funny thing when I was leveling up, like the farm, the farm.
Yeah.
I always wish that you can plant like leather seeds, like raptor leaf or something, and it gives you leather. I always wish that the leather it gave you was leather that was relevant to what you needed. It only gives you like max level leather. So like I was doing that and, it was great. By the time I needed it, I had, 300 stacks of, the level 90 leather. But I wish that it kind of,
because you're trying to level up both. You're like, okay, well, leatherworking and skinning. So how do you do that? And
So maybe garrisons will help with all that jazz. But I'm glad that they're going to do this catch-up thing,
right?
Because holy cow, that's a long road to stare down.
And there was a question in chat that I saw, and it was, "What's your monk's name again?"
I believe he goes by the name Wakfu.
Wakfu.
Yeah.
Had to happen. Now, we also have some other fun profession stuff to talk about, and that came from Jonathan Kraft, right? And that there is actually something coming for Blingtron, which is cool, and that is that they might be able to fight other Blingtrons in Warlords.
What?
They might be able to fight other Blingtrons.
What?
So it'd be kind of like a fighting pet, right? I mean, this is, but it's a stationary vendor, so I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but that could be kind of cool, right? And then for rewards, who knows what it's going to be, but it's kind of a fun idea.
It says here that Blingtron death matches, same faction, it will be a free-for-all. Idea is to grant a bonus to the creator of a winning Blingtron.
Right.
That's awesome.
And the bonus may just be bragging rights, but they're trying to work on some kind of reward for it.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
These are not April Fool's jokes.
No, this is not an April Fool's joke at all. No. This is real.
This is real.
That they're trying to work on it for Warlords, and that's. We should have put that in the April Fool's bit.
Well, we talked about Blingtron.
Yeah, we did.
But that would be awesome. Is you got one set down, and then a guy walks up and like boom, drops it, and they just look at each other and like, oh, here we go. And they just go to town on each other.
And then you hear some like fight music break out.
That's right. And everyone's in a circle around them. That could be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Now, is there any other kind of? I mean, this is like really a super fun thing for professions. Are there any other ways that they can improve professions as long as we're kind of on this topic? Is there any other way that they can improve professions in your eyes, make it more interesting, fun, whatever? Because right now it's kind of a grind for a lot of them, right? For a lot of different professions, it's just like, oh, I'm making 75 of these stupid things.
Right.
And then I move on to the next stupid thing that nobody's ever going to buy ever.
Well, I also keep in mind that it's per level. Like when we hit this new expansion, you're going to make a leather item, a cloth item, and it will be probably an upgrade for your character. So you will wear that new robe that you made or that new chest piece that you made at the beginning of the expansion. But then later on down the road, when you're just, grinding it out, then it's like, wow, it's all worthless.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but remember, this is the big reason. Professions are a bit of a grind now, especially for raiders, because they provide a bonus. Engineers, you get synapse springs, 20% haste, I think. Blacksmith, get extra sockets. They're taking all that out. So now professions are just going to be professions. They're just going to be just what they're supposed to be. Make armor and weapons as a blacksmith. Engineer, you can make cool bombs and toys and fun things. So
I think they should do something for the actual person if they're going to go through all that effort to go through the grind of the professions to make it something interesting. It doesn't have to be anything huge or like a raid buffer or something like that. It could just be something fun and kind of or witty or something. I mean, like the Blingtron thing. That's pretty funny. But I do kind of want to see them make it relevant for the player and make some kind reason that the player should go and grind this profession out.
There's like a heavy mix with garrisons would be good.
Yeah.
Even something like if you've got in your garrison, if you build a blacksmithing forge and you have blacksmithing or mining, like you create things faster or you mine faster or you smelt faster, something like that. Kind of like the cooking hat.
You smelt faster.
Oh,
yeah, jeez. Well, here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What if they revamped professions completely and made them like there's another MMO, I think it was like EverQuest 2 or something, where when you do crafting in that game, it's like a whack-a-mole type thing. Like, okay, you're going to create this item, go. And then like your progress bar is going. And I think it's like this in Final Fantasy, I think as well. And it's like, oh, this happened, you better do this. And then you click the forge and then it puts water on it and puts the fire out. And then, oh, this happened, you better do this. And like, it was like that. There was a quest, I think, in Sholazar Basin that was something similar to that.
Yeah, there was the very first stop that you go to where you have to make the alcoholic beverage, and I can't remember what it's called.
Right.
But you have to like click on the fire, and then you have to click on the still, and then you have to click on the different fruits and bring them all in. And
so, what if professions were like that? What if they were more like action based?
Right.
Would that appeal to either one of you guys?
I don't know. I mean, it would depend on how it was done, of course. I mean, if it was done the right way, where it felt like you were progressing, and if you didn't just go, if it did that, I wouldn't want it to go one upgrade at a time or level up one every time if you're going to go through all those different actions. So it'd have to be like a jump, like, oh, you go from 525 of this profession, and if you go for 5-10 minutes, then you go up 50 points. That'd be cool. Or some kind of big jump like that. Then that would be all right. Darius?
No, I agree. Not the regular grind. I wouldn't want to be interacting with it. I just want to queue up a bunch of things and go.
Yeah.
But if I can do something extra to get, as part of maybe the catch-up mechanic,
Oh, that'd be cool.
If I'm clicking on some stuff and having to do stuff and be active, but I get double the points or something like that, then
it'd be like your own personal challenge mode of sorts.
Yeah.
That could be kind of interesting.
I kind of like the little mini game thing. I kind of like it. I got to admit, I kind of dug it, and some of the others because I kind of forgot I was crafting. I was like having fun, and then if I did everything right, then I like had a chance to proc like an epic version or like a better version of it. I like the kind of mini game of it.
Yeah,
it kept it kind of more interesting.
Sounds like something that someone that's super casual would enjoy.
Oh my god! Wow, what was that? Nerf disc. I'll just have a sip of my mug. I love this, man. This is just like, oh really? Yeah, I agree with you, Darius. Oh.
I like it. Oh man. But yeah, I mean that could actually be really cool as a catch-up device or as a way to craft epics or something like that. That could be cool too.
Yeah.
But I think just for like the one-off, green item or whatever, I don't care. I just don't care. I can't care about that.
They just gotta. I mean, whatever they do, they're gonna make sure that like it's not too complicated because they want to make sure that all classes can do it, including mages. So if they add more than 2 buttons,
You and your
mage
talk. What is going on?
Any chance you can get, you just throw it in there.
It's just every time that cup comes up.
I'm just gonna hold it up like this for the rest of the show.
Right.
Every time you bring up mage, boom,
Right.
truth. The drink of truth.
That's it.
They call this the mug of 1,000 truths, by the way.
I don't think they do.
Saying that in the chat room.
I think you got the wrong one. That's the mug of 1,000 lies.
And if you're if you're not watching the video, you really should.
Yeah.
Really should. All right. Well, I think that does it for news this week. Not a heck of a lot, but we should be seeing that interview roll out here pretty soon. And I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll have some more information. And it's good that Blizzard is back to the interview circuit, at least. So I'm looking forward to hearing more what's going on. But for now, let's go into leading the raid.
Leading the raid.
When we can, we take a look at leadership issues for raid leaders everywhere. And this week we have another listener question. And Coltrane, can you take this over for us?
Sure. This is from Ibiza from Kel'Thuzad. Hello, guys. I only recently started watching your show. Please keep up the great work. And that's it. That's a really nice letter. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Really,
for that letter. That's
a
amazing.
good boost. That makes me feel good. He says, I've been playing since Classic. Notice how he said Classic and not Vanilla.
It's Vanilla.
No, it's Classic. It's Classic. It's Classic. Wow, not Vanilla. I've been playing since Classic and been on some very good raid teams. I used to raid 4 nights a week, killing heroic bosses in Cataclysm. But now I don't have very much time to raid. I find LFR no challenge, always topping the healing meters as a resto druid. But I'm getting bored. Healing has become a second nature now, and in LFR, if you have one other good healer, it's just too easy. I've been getting really unlucky with drops as well. My gear score is only 525. And people on my server say my gear score is too low for normals, so I don't get any invites. I would like to find a team that fits my schedule, but being on a PvP server, there aren't many PvE guilds recruiting. Plus, being this far into the last raid tier, lots of teams are set. So after all that, I guess my question to you would be, how or what can I do/use to find a raid team? Because the current system that Blizz has in place is just not so good. Thanks, and I hope that you can help me.
All right, so we have a question about getting into a rating from LFR. I mean, we are seeing more and more of this, and especially with the level 90 boost and all this other stuff that's kind of been going on. There's actually a lot that can help you find a team. Isn't that right, Darius?
Yeah, so lucky for you and all of our listeners out there that are in the same situation, you can now do normals and heroics cross-realm. So things like OQ or WoW Forums or anything like that are going to allow you to raid with guilds that are not on your server in Siege of Orgrimmar.
Open raid as well. So OQ and open raid.
OQ and open raid,
right.
sorry.
And others.
You can also do flex. You've always been able to do flex cross-realm if you can find a team. And you might find a team that's, 9 players on, say, Airy Peak, and you're on another, and you really hit it off with them, and you transfer over there. But that could be your best bet. But going forward, I think from here on out, is what they said. Normals will be cross realm going into the next expansion too. Mm-hmm. So this whole server thing, you're stuck to your server for raiding is actually, as of last week, gone away.
Yeah, it's bunk.
You can now raid wherever you want. Yeah,
right.
Woo!
Right. Colt, anything to add here?
No, that's perfect, man. It's exciting. It's a perfect time. You can cross realm with everything. It's wonderful.
It really
just kind of hit me like no fanfare at all, but server-based raiding is gone.
Yeah, it really is. And just as a note, I mean, right now is actually a really good time for players who are in your situation to get into a team, because right now, I mean, we've been in a little bit of a lull for Siege, right? So Siege has been going on for a long time now, 6 months, and we see some players starting to go do other things like Reaper of Souls, like what we talked about before. People are playing other games, other Blizzard games, other games completely, and so there are opportunities for you, but I think that if you're going to use OQ and Open Raid, one of the things to throw in there too is that you can lead a team, your own team.
Yeah.
And say that you're recruiting, and then you can become the raid leader of this. And I think that that'd be pretty cool too. Don't be intimidated to start your own group on Open Raid or OQ, and just make sure that you're putting down all the right information and say, hey, I'm looking for a team and trying to build a team for Warlords or whatever. So I always come at it like that because it's pretty easy and eventually, I mean, once you get your guys together, it's pretty fun. I like it. So, and with that, I think we will go into Q&A.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. Call our raid line, 612-787-RAID, or you can join us during the live show. Try to flag us down. We'll see if we can get to it during the show. We pay attention to the chat room. And the first one is from an email. Darius, can you help us out here?
This is from Noodle Mage on Ghostlands EU.
Right.
It says, hey guys, or hi guys, just want to take your thoughts on Blizzard betas. I find that with the actual beta period, you see a lot of the content earlier, and this contributes indirectly to content burnout when we finally have it released. This is why I resisted the urge to go nuts in the Hearthstone beta, and likely what I will do with Heroes of the Storm. Are Blizzard betas too open? Is this why we get burnt out?
All right, so we're talking about burnout here, Coltrane. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I love me some beta. You know, you want to get in early, you want to check out and see it, and woo, look at that, and blah, 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 and then get out. Get out! Because, no, I mean, it depends on what your motivation is when you get into beta. Some people, believe it or not, get into beta to find bugs and to, test things.
What? People actually do that? What's going on?
I hear there's a rumor. I think 1 in every 8,000 people actually do that.
Yeah, probably.
So that's good. That's good. But others just like to get in, see the content, check it out. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. And then log out because they don't want to have burnout when it starts. For me personally, I also like to test and all that stuff. But there's something that's so exciting about release. So when you see the content in beta, and yes, it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's cool, I still continue to play because on release day, it's like this is release, and yes, you're doing the content over again. This time it's more polished and it's better and it's cleaner and all that stuff, but it's still exciting. It's still exciting for me. But also I got to say, for me, I tend to, like, for Warlords of Draenor, if I get into beta, whenever that time's going to come, I'm going to kind of like memorize areas. So when release hits, I can be like fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can like level up quicker because I know the quests. I know the zone. Like, oh yeah, I know a lot of people go over here to kill these mobs, but I know this area over here past the river, you can get way more of these mobs to kill for the quest.
Wait, hold on a sec. Past the river is what you're saying?
Past the river.
Past the river. Okay, then I'm making down
that's
notes.
That's where Colt's going, just so everyone
That's where
knows.
you want to go. No, no, that's my secret. Past the river.
Everybody go past the river. That's where the mobs are.
That's where they're at.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
No, I totally do. I get it because that's the way that I've used the beta for Miss Pandaria was to check out, the Pandaren starting zone and to make sure that I kind of understood how that played beforehand, so that when it actually hit, I could be that much faster and that much better as I kind of leveled up. So that was part of the fun, but I think you do always have to balance it. Anytime that you're in an alpha or a beta for any game. You always have to balance that with knowing that there are going to be changes, and that if you are somebody who plays something incessantly, that you may get burned out by the time that the game releases. We saw that kind of with Hearthstone a little bit. I know that a few friends were in the beta.
Me included.
We're in the beta, and now they don't play it at all. And it's only been released for what, a couple of
weeks. Yeah.
So
I'm one of those people. I played it a lot when we first got beta invites.
Right.
And then I don't think I've played it in 4 or 5 months now.
Right. Well, and we have a tendency, the three of us have a tendency to get into alphas and betas of all sorts of different games, right? Because I know that we're all in the EQ Next Landmark beta, right now. And Colt, you and I were in the alpha. And I know that, Darius, you're in the extraction beta. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another FPS game that's coming out.
Another FPS that, and there are times where, I'll get into the beta, I'll play it a lot, and I won't dig it. WildStar was one of those. I was excited for it and then got in and didn't enjoy it. But then there's others like Titanfall. I thought I was going to hate it. And I got in there and I couldn't stop playing the beta, and I can't stop playing the game now. So
it is kind of addictive. I was playing that Friday night with a bunch of people, so it was a lot of fun.
I think what it comes down to here is just personal moderation. Blizzard gives you the option to play the beta, but you don't have to.
Right.
If you're worried about burnout later on, if you're a person that gets burnt out quite a bit, don't play it. Or log in, see what's changed,
or go in it for a specific task. That's always kind of interesting, too. Go in for one thing that you want to see, not for everything. Or just look for one certain thing and not look for everything.
Go ahead. Go in and test.
Right.
Find bugs. You could also do that.
Right.
Well,
you could.
I will say, I actually was very proud of myself. I actually found an exploit in the Burning Crusade beta.
Really?
Yes, I found this exploit where it was jewel crafting. It was the brand new profession. And I found out that, what is it called when you take your gem and you get rid of it? You turn it into raw material. What's that called? Blah, blah, blah.
Can you do that anymore? I don't know if you could.
Well, yeah, you like salvage it, or you take like ore. It's ore. And then you pull gems out of the ore.
Yeah, you prospect.
Thank you. So I found out that if your bags were full, and you hit prospect on a gem or on a piece of ore, you would get the skill up, but it wouldn't get rid of the ore because your bags are full. So it couldn't give you the gem. It couldn't give you the gems out of it. So you could just chain prospect like crazy. And I leveled up to like 200-300 jewel crafting.
And you have one gem to show for it.
With nothing. With ore. So I typed it out. I'm like, exploit in all caps, and it got fixed. At least I think it did.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it since, but there is some enjoyment too about finding bugs and finding out what's wrong. And when you go down by the river, and you find the mobs and all that stuff. But I like that. Actually, those invisible walls and all that stuff.
I heard that the mobs were across the river.
Oh yeah, they're right. They're not down the river. They're across. Well, I'm trying to confuse people, so I got my spot. They could be across. They could be down the river. Right. Who knows?
Right. And the other thing to note is that, with Warlords, we don't know how open that beta is going to be. Right.
Yeah. They've said that they don't want a beta like MOP. So I think they've realized the value or the lack of value in something like that.
Right. And none of us are in Heroes of the Storm. I'm not saying anything about that, but none of us are in Heroes of the Storm.
I don't think it needs to be said.
None of us are.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard. It's okay. We're not bitter. I'm just kidding. So I don't know that all Blizzard betas are too open, especially now. Hearthstone was, Miss Pandaria was, and maybe they learned some lessons from having it so open for folks as well. So we have one more email, and then we got to get the heck out of here. And this is from Kef on Deathrock. And it says, "Hey guys, given the age of the game and consistent drop in subs since Wrath, should Blizzard have instituted some sort of veterans reward program? A way to both show some love to their long-term subs while also providing a constant carrot on a stick for new subs to keep paying for the game. This could take the form of periodic free account services, a choice of unique transmog armor, mounts, pets, etc. And I would argue that they already have a veterans program that both helps out new people and long-term subscribers, and that is the Boost to 90. Am I wrong here?
What?
Am I wrong here? The Boost to 90, it keeps new subs playing with their friends and helps out the veterans that have been around for a while. So you buy Warlords, you get the Boost to 90. That's the veterans program. That's the veterans program right there.
That's not what they're saying at all.
I know.
The opposite of veteran reward. That's you just got the game. Here's a free 90.
I know exactly, but it does all the stuff that he wanted it to do, right?
Well, so Star Wars Galaxies had something like this, where the longer you played, every time you hit a milestone, you got something cool. So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever, and eventually it was up to like 3 or 4 years, and you ended up with these really cool items that you could use. They were cosmetic. They didn't actually do anything, but it was a way to show off, because there's players housing, how long you had been playing the game, how long you had an active subscription.
Right.
So by the end there, you had some people with some crazy, crazy stuff that no one else had, because they just didn't have accounts that long. And it was actually really cool, to be able to show off these things, in your house and whatnot. I don't know how they would do it here. I guess mounts and things like that, but I thought it was really cool in Star Wars Galaxies, and I would totally go for something like that.
Well, you kind of see that with mounts every once in a while, because they do have some limited release mounts, like the Tiger mount. Of course, he had to grind for it. So not only did you have to be in the game for a while, but you also had to have good luck on getting that sucker.
Just something that directly says, I've had this account for for 5 years or whatever. Because if you ask every player that's ever played WoW ever, all of them have been playing since alpha. Every single one of them. So, this would be a cool way to kind of differentiate that.
To prove that.
I think it'd be kind of cool. I would go for it.
Colt, how about you?
No! No! You can't do it. You cannot do it. You just can't. I know.
I think they can do it.
I have been in since Classic. That's right, Classic. I have been in since Classic. So something like this would be cool. Like City of Heroes had something similar to this as well. Like that would be cool. And for me, that would be awesome, right? But you have to consider the people. If there is an item, if there is a mount, if there is something in game that someone else cannot get, meaning it's impossible for them to get, unless they do it for 5-6 years, there will be outrage like you could never imagine. People don't like it when people have things that they don't have. Now, you say like, raiding gear. And I know. I'm just saying that when somebody's got something that's awesome, the first thing they say is, where did you get that? And they say, oh, I got it from this raid. Okay, well, I know that if I want to get that item, I have to start raiding and I have to get that raid. Or I can just queue up for LFR. But still, I'm just saying that, like, if it's something that is like, oh, it's because I've been in the game for 8 years, then I know that it will be impossible for me to get that. I've been in the game for 1 year, and 8 years from now, like that's an impossible thing. That gets me, the player, upset. Well, that's not fair. You know what I mean?
What do you call the pets and mounts that they've released at BlizzCon?
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Well, okay, that's interesting, meaning that that's only available for people that attended BlizzCon.
Right.
And if you didn't, well, okay, that's a valid point. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's a valid point, because you got the Murkies and all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe whatever they make available at BlizzCon, they sell in the Blizzard store, maybe. But no, that's a good point. Okay, I will admit, that is a very, very good point.
There's anniversary achievements and pets and things like that you can't get and you'll never be able to get again.
That's true.
Right.
They do have this sort of thing, but I mean, it does seem to be very specialized. So if they did something like a veterans program to help their subscription rate, that could actually help very slightly, I think. It would be more of a, hey, you've been with us for 6 months. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And as long as it remains kind of a little thank you, I don't have a problem with that. But, as soon as they go over the line to like free real money stuff or something like that, I don't like that as much. It's, oh, now you've been with us for 6 months, so we're going to take $5 off character transfer. I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, but something like, just a title. Like, you've been with us 5 years, you get the grumpy old man title.
Actually, I think you'd have that, don't you?
Yeah, it'd be Darius.
I have that, yeah.
That would just be labeled Darius.
Right, I can't change it either. I don't understand. Like, no matter what title I change to.
I think that's because we labeled you. I'm pretty sure that's the way that it went.
That's right.
Kinda.
Now, I got to say, though, like for me, I would love a veterans program because I have been around since forever.
Right.
But I'm just saying that there's a possibility for those other individuals about items that you can't get that might upset certain people. But you do bring up a very good point in regards to BlizzCon. So that is a very, very good point as far as pets and mounts available. So I think it would be great. I'm just worried about those other individuals that can't get those items, that they may be upset or feel left out. But,
There's
you know,
always going to be people like that.
but you're right. You're right. That's true. That's very true.
I think
that's very true.
It's an interesting question. It is. I think they settled on the boost to 90 though, and that's pretty good.
You're insane.
Just kidding. All right, let's get the heck out of here. But before we do, let's give some 5-star reviews, or let's give shout outs to those that gave us 5-star reviews, I should say. Darius, who is it this week? Who do we have?
We've got Acronism, Sin City Geek, aka Mix Z, Big Daddy Bangalore, and Iconics 13.
Big Daddy Bangalore. Wow. That's crazy.
Big Daddy Bangalore.
Any shout outs this week, fellas?
I got a shout out to a raid team known as 9 to Midnight. Got to raid with them last night. Had a blast working on 25 Thok. Had a really good time in their event. It was awesome. Also, check out the Epic Geeks podcast. They're still rocking and rolling. And I've also heard that we should refer to Huumi. Remember that name earlier on Twitter? Huumi as Ms. Woo.
Oh.
Ms. Woo.
All right. Good to know.
All right.
Good to
There
know.
you go.
I think I should probably give a shout out to the guild. I think they're Gods of Anarchy. They're on Proudmoore. I think I ran with them. They actually wrote in a couple weeks ago. It was one of our listeners that wrote in asking about tips for Gary. They were stuck on Garage. And I ran with them, and I don't know if they actually got the kill or not. I haven't heard, but I ran with them for a couple hours, giving them pointers and whatnot. So shout out to those guys. I think only one of the guys was a listener by the time I got there, and by the time I left, none of them were listeners.
Yes!
You're doing good work, Darius. You're doing good work. We could not do this show without you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the comments and questions that pop up on YouTube, the likes, all that kind of things. Please join in on all the conversations. Share the conversations with your friends, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to talk to us, you can do that real easy. But first, I need to got to bail out on the music.
You're just going to bail out? Just bail out of that?
Just bailing straight out of that. You got it. I know. It's craziness. And I'll play this. Woo! If you want to talk to us, just email us, converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid, or even individually, isn't that right, Coltrane?
That's right. You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. And you can follow Darius at Bored Mind.
I'm just letting that screen go for a little bit here. All right.
Changing my
Mug
Twitter
of
handle to
1,000
Buff Priest. Buff Priest, nerf everything else.
Oh boy. All right. And please join the Bazuba Guabo Nation. Back that up. By heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have show downloads, we have our videos, tons of links for raiders, our forums, so much more, and it's all over at converttoraid.com. Our live feed and video show is normally on Gamebreaker TV, but today it wasn't, for some strange reason.
It was not.
We couldn't make it work.
We couldn't make it work. It wasn't working.
Damn it! So
by the way, Darius, this is courtesy of Derevka. So if you're upset about this possible mug for some reason, you can blame
Talk
Derevka.
with that man.
Right. And the audio show is available on Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iTunes, all sorts of other places. Do check out the video on GameBreaker.tv as well. And that is going to be it for the show. We hope you had a good time. We hope that you didn't actually believe the April Fool's bit at all.
April Fool.
April Fools. All right, but thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our regular time, Sunday, 11 a.m. Central. And for all the guys that Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.